Hey everyone, how is it going? I hope everyone's staying safe during COVID. I'm basically here to do a video regarding my keto journey. Basically, I've done the keto journey. My husband and I have done it for about 2 months, and during the journey, a lot of people had questions for me. What's the keto? What are the side effects? What do you eat? And so, in order to just make things easier, I thought let's just do a video just addressing some of the questions that I got. If I were to type it to everyone, it would be way too long. So I just thought making a video would be much easier. Before I begin, I want to say that I rarely record myself speaking. So if I make mistakes, please bear with me. This is a little awkward. Shout out to all the YouTube people that do this. It's a little nerve-wracking, but anyways, I'm just gonna answer the questions. And I've written them down so that I don't forget what people had asked me. With that being said, I think the first question I got was, what is the ketogenic diet? So the ketogenic diet is basically a diet where you drastically reduce the level of carbohydrates that you intake and you have no sugar. So what that means is when I say drastically reduce, like you can eat foods that have like 0 to 1 grams of carbs in it, because the purpose of the keto diet is to basically restrict your carb intake to 25 grams a day, which is considerably very low. So you're eating a lot of items, or you're finding things that have next to nothing grams of carbs in it, just to make the diet easier. And so things like whole wheat pasta, bread, all of that is a no-no. So you can't consume any of those foods. And when it comes to the sugar portion, you can't have sugar. And a lot of people are like, oh, that's not too bad. But no, you can't even have fruits. Yeah, so natural sugars are also included. And the reason why the ketogenic diet works like that is because normally our body uses carbohydrates as fuel, right? To give our body energy, get us going through our day, that sort of thing. And so by reducing your intake of carbohydrates and having no sugar, what happens is the diet lets you instead consume higher fats and protein. And so when you come to that low level of carbs and the body is like, oh my God, where are the carbs? What fuel am I going to use? It in turn starts to use the fat that you've been consuming, and thus you see the weight loss. So that's the ketogenic diet in summary. It's basically substituting your carbs as fuel and using fats and proteins instead. Pretty simple. I hope that made sense. If it didn't, YouTube and Google are there to pretty much summarize what the ketogenic diet is. What else was my next question? Is it for everyone? So you have to know your body type. Like personally for me, because I've done it twice already, I'm okay. I'm used to what the ketogenic diet contains. Sorry, I just missed a point. So when your body the carbs reduce that much significantly in your body, you get into a state of ketosis, hence the name ketogenic diet. Just wanted to put that out there. So if you type in ketosis, it'll also summarize what that's about. Anyway, sorry. And so is it for everyone? Yeah. It depends. You got to know your body. I know there are some people that find it very, very difficult not to have carbs. I have friends that work out like crazy and they look fantastic and they eat quite a bit of carbs, but they're able to burn it off, right? So for some people, the craving of carbs is quite high. Likewise, for some people, the craving of sugar is quite high. So is it for everyone? It depends. You got to know what you're willing to endure, essentially. You have to be very disciplined and very mentally strong, I would say, to do the keto diet, because having, for me personally, no sugar, that was tough. I remember even starting it and I was on my period. I'm a type of person, when I'm on my period, I need candy, I need chocolate, I am craving something so sweet. And so for me, that week of not having any sugar was very, very difficult. Mentally, I was like a wreck. I was getting rude, I was getting short with people. And so because I knew this would only subside for, 5 to 7 days. And after I would get over my cravings, I was okay to continue. But for some people, like I said, you got to know yourself, and you got to know what you're willing to go through. So yeah, there are variations of the keto diet. Which one should I follow? So I'm going to try to answer this as honestly as possible. Yes, there are very much different variations of the keto diet out there. For instance, when I first researched the keto diet, I was getting very much conflicting messaging surrounding what constitutes as keto, what doesn't. I think because keto is such a popular diet now, I think people have added their own flair and twist so that it's accommodating for everyone. However, you have to remember, if you research the purpose of ketosis, it's a very strict diet. So I'll see some keto recipes or some keto explanations that are like, yeah, you got to reduce your carbs to 50 to 100. Whereas no, like you have to reduce it less than that, because the purpose of keto is to get your body into ketosis, right? And then like having absolutely no sugar, because your body needs to run on the fat and the protein. And so sometimes I'll see some diets out there that are like, yeah, add a little bit of berries because it has this much grams, but it doesn't matter. It's still sugar, right? So for me, I feel like if you're going to do the keto diet, follow the strictest diet there is out there, because that's where you'll see the best results personally. I just find that it's become a diet where like everybody thinks that they're an expert, and so they'll say, yeah, that's fine, I did it and that's fine. And remember too, everybody's body is different, but to ensure that you're actually getting your body into ketosis and you want to see drastic weight loss, I feel that going with the stricter route of the keto diet, sorry, I'm itchy, it's my side effect, I will explain this later down the line. Following the stricter diet of the keto diet, you'll see much more results. Like for myself, I have done the keto diet for 2 months now. I'm actually finished. Yesterday was my last day. And so during the 2 months, I originally weighed 180. And now I'm down to 155 actually as of this morning. So in total, I lost 25 pounds. And again, that was very much the result of following a stricter regime. So I'll say that. How do you start keto? Okay. I like this question because it's a question that I think needs addressing, only because when I first started keto and I jumped right into keto, it was horrible. And stupidly enough, the second time I forgot how horrible it is and jumped right into it again. So my biggest advice is, if you're going to start keto, transition into the keto diet appropriately. And what I mean by that is, if you can do a week or two of healthy eating before going into the keto diet, do so, because it just makes the transition easier and the withdrawal symptoms not as bad. Like for me, going into the keto diet this time, I just stopped cold turkey eating whatever I was eating and jumped right into keto. And honestly, the first 3 days, I think I was going through major sugar withdrawal. It was bad. I felt nauseous. I felt sick. Like day 4, I was like, nah, I'm out. I'm not even gonna continue this diet. But it was my husband that was like, no, keep going, keep going. But yeah, if I could do keto diet all over again, my biggest advice to those starting is to transition appropriately. So like, even if it's like 3 or 4 days before, do that. Like, don't be eating sugar and a whole bunch of carbs before you start this diet, because like the first 3 days are pretty rough. So I'll say that. That's a good question. How I felt. So yeah, when I did the keto this time around, I can't remember how I felt the first time. I want to say the second time around I felt better. If I recall the first time, I did keto, especially for those that are starting the first time. I want to be like as detailed as I can. So I'll try and think back to the first time I started keto. When I first started keto, I remember, like I said, the first 3 days, major bad like withdrawal symptoms, even now, wasn't great. But I also experienced some weakness and fatigue the first 2-3 weeks, because you have reduced the level of carbs so drastically that it's hard for your body to use that as fuel, right? And so there's gonna be fatigue, there's gonna be some nauseousness, and it depends. Like for me, I felt a lot of fatigue when I would walk up a flight of stairs. Even like the first time I did it, standing in the shower was like a problem. I was feeling winded. But somebody like my husband, he was fine. There were times where waking up in the morning, he'd feel a little more weaker than usual in the beginning, but he didn't experience the fatigue or the tiredness as much as I did. And so that's why I keep emphasizing everybody's body type is different. I do want to put a disclaimer out there, because everybody's body type is different. That if you're feeling weak to the point where like you're not feeling good at all, please stop keto. Like, know how far you can push yourself. I don't want people ending up in the hospital or like medically being unstable because of this diet. So be cognizant and pay attention to your body. Like, be really in tune, and see if some of that fatigue or nauseousness decreases. If not, and you're finding that it's still persisting, please, like, don't beat yourself to continue the keto. Like, nothing's worth more than your health. But on the flip side, there are many people who have done it, and this is like kind of the general consensus, is that this is how you feel in the beginning, and then towards the end you're fine. And that's exactly what happened with me. So just keep that in mind. Like I said, during my time of menstruation, that was rough because I couldn't have sugar, so I was moody. So those were some of the side effects that I did not like. And another side effect of this diet was the fact that I got a keto rash. And so I can't pull my shirt, but if you guys see, there's a bit of like freckles here. It kind of like goes just about down here, and like it spreads like a butterfly. It's so weird, and sometimes it's so itchy. So basically that's a side effect of, sorry, that's how you know it's itchy. That's a side effect of the keto diet. It's just a weird, rare phenomenon that happens when your body gets into the state of ketosis, because you have decreased the level of carbohydrates in your body. And so one of the rare side effects is you get a keto rash. Not everybody gets it. Like my husband didn't get it. Other people that I talked to didn't get it. I always get it. First time around I got it. Second time around I got it. So what do you do when you get a keto rash? Don't freak out, because at first I was like, what is happening to my body? But don't freak out. Is there something you can put on it to make it go away? No. I had to learn that real quick the first time around. I was putting castor oil, I was putting vitamin E oil. I was trying to put some ointments on it to make it go away, despite the research telling me that it's not going to go away until you increase your carbs. So second time around, I embraced it. I knew it was coming. Did it come right off the bat? No, it came, I want to say, a week or two in. And it's a good sign to let me know that I'm in ketosis. At least I know that, okay, I'm doing the diet right if I get the rash. But because I'm a little insecure about the rash, because it's not cute when I'm wearing low tops, I just put a little bit of concealer, and nobody really knows. So that is one of the side effects that does happen.